So Rachel, I was glad that I was able to come in and see your science class today, because for the last couple of days you and I have been talking about objectives, making sure the assessment matches the objective, and also talking about the independent practice. So it was good to be able to see that in action. So if you had to think back to your objectives of the lesson, do you think students mastered those objectives? And if so, why? And if not, why not?
I would say that I have a good idea that most of them, but because I didn't have an assessment that clearly checked that, that it would be something that I would definitely go back and change, is to have something that I could see, so that I could see that there was 100% mastery on that.
Okay, so basically, based off your assessment, you know that there was a good number of students that mastered the material, and there were also a percentage of students who did not master the material, and you said because of your assessment. And what was one of your assessments that allowed you to find that out?
One of the assessments was a discussion around how the backbone that we made, the model, was similar to our backbones. So although it was a discussion, I only hit on a certain number of students, whereas if I had some type of paper assessment, I would have hit on all students.
Good. And do you notice the students who you called on for the ones that were similar? You happen to notice?
Yeah. I mean, I called on all the ones that I knew had really good observations. So it wasn't hitting on those kids to make sure that the kids that I wasn't sure of, I didn't call on them.
Right. And what led you not calling on them?
It was because actually during the turn-in talk when I circulated, I heard that they had really good observations and similarities. So I wanted them to share them out.
Okay. So we can't go back and do this particular lesson, but if you did, what would be the piece that you would add or change to that based on what you just said?
I would definitely change. I would have the discussion, but I would have it after they had some kind of written component that I could see if they mastered the objectives or not. Okay. So then I would use what they have to then have the discussion, and I could collect it and at a later time review it. Good.
And you talked about similarities and difference. So what might be a type of written component that you might have used?
In terms of like what they would be doing. So even just what did you notice, questioning like how is this similar, how is it different, what are the different parts, what do they represent, that kind of thing. So the gummy represents what part of the human or the vertebrate backbone, the pasta represents what part, because I still think that they're unclear about that.
Right. And what made you think they were unclear? There was something you asked that your
they didn't
understand. Moment went on.
Yeah, they didn't understand that what the gummy and the pasta represented. So they understood the movement part of it. I think they had a really good idea that the movement of the pipe cleaner was like the movement of our back, but I don't think they understood why it was a pasta and why it was a gummy.
Right, because then you said disc, and they were like...
Right, I don't think they had. So maybe if I even posted a picture of a real, like a vertebrate, or like a real backbone, so that they could see that it's not, because to them, even if they're feeling it, I think that they still aren't feeling the difference. They feel a hard bone in their back.
Great. So you would have asked questions that helped kids pull out that understanding. Another thing you could have did is a Venn diagram, because kids like to do that, and I know you do that a lot. So maybe you could write that down for future references, where you did similarities and differences, because I know your students are used to doing those, and that could have been another quick way to check from understanding, along with some of those questions that you said, like what does it look like, what are the different parts.